Did you go live already? Yeah, okay.
Yes, we are live. Good morning, Melissa.
Good morning, Leslie. How are you?
I'm good on this nice, sunny, dry, cool day with no smoke.
I know. It does look like a really beautiful day outside. I'm gonna try to step outside a little later.
Me too. Me too. So while we wait for people to arrive, because we know it always takes a moment, I thought we would share a win. And I know you've had some recent wins, and maybe share them all or share the big one.
I don't know how many we're thinking about here. I mean, I'll share the big one because it was really lovely. I just came
Yes.
back from Phoenix, and Allie and I had gone to Phoenix to receive an award for Letters to Lily. So it's an International Impact Book Award. Letters to Lily was a winner in the leadership, mentorship, and personal growth category, and it was really fun. It was very fancy. It was this whole red carpet and dinner, and it was just really nice. I'm really glad we went. It was super fun.
Oh, I mean, seeing the pictures was so special and it looked, I hope it was as special as it looked in the photos.
It really was, and you contributed a letter to the book. We really truly, that awards for all of us, right? For everyone who participated and shared their story.
Oh, that's so nice. So, well, mine is like a little different. It's just, I grew up in a family that was like absolute huge sports fans, and my mother was the biggest sports fan in my family. And as I look back at this summer, like starting with the NBA finals, and then I went to the US Open golf, my first golf tournament ever. And then came Wimbledon and World Cup all at the same time. So I had to keep on like switching around. Wow, it invigorated like my sports fanship, and
Oh,
I forgot how much I loved it. I mean, I've always followed sports, but never like got back into it where I'm like screaming at the TV and it didn't matter if I was alone or there were people with me. So I just love that where it really is fun, and especially something like the World Cup, which I never had watched soccer.
it's funny you say that. So I've been a huge sports fan my whole life. I'm an only child. My dad was a big sports fan, so I grew up watching sports. I never was a huge soccer fan either, just because
Yeah.
historically it's been very popular in Europe, right? But not necessarily so much in
Yes.
the U.S. But I think because the New York City area was, the U.S. was a host country, and there were games obviously being played, just in New Jersey, right over the water. It was really so enjoyable. Like I watched so many
Yes.
games. I really got into it. And of course, I was really thrilled with the Knicks. I think that this Knicks team was really special. Like there was just something very
Very.
special about their camaraderie and their chemistry together. And I enjoyed that
Yes.
much.
Yes, like every minute stayed up late watching it. It was exciting. And really with the Knicks games, what I loved is if I like stepped away for a moment, whether I was going to the bathroom or getting a drink, I would know something big was happening because there are bars and restaurants near me where everyone was watching. So
Yeah,
I'd hear the screaming. I'm like, oh my God, what did I miss? So it was kind of,
yeah.
even though I was inside watching with my husband, I'm like, okay, we have a whole crowd out there watching with us. So
It's
it was
true.
really fun.
It's true.
So I think, yeah, I think so. So we know we're live because we have some
We
comments
have a
already.
lot of
So
comments. Yes.
oh, good. So who do we need to say hello to? They're all popping in. I'm going to try to start. Lynn, she came first. Hello, Lynn. It's so good to see you. I'm going to put your comment up. Thank you for being here. And next up, Stephen Eng. Oh, good morning. It's so good to see you. And yes, I'm particularly relieved about the weather as well. It's so much better. And how is the weather in Vancouver, Carlos? We're so glad you're here. You'll have to tell us. And who oh, I know who's here. Carol, who she'll have to remind me how many years we know each other. It's quite a long time. Hello from Toronto. We appreciate you. And then look who else is here. Amara, way to go. Oh, we're so glad you're here. And who oh, I did, and Kathy is here. I met Kathy. You know, this is how connections work. I met Kathy because Lynn Holbrooks tagged us in a comment, and now we've had some great conversation in the comments. And I'm so glad you're here, Kathy, because you have some very good advice about saying no. So other people need to hear it. We'll do a few more hellos. Oh, Anne is here. And she has a big win coming because she's starting a new show. And I think it starts on Monday. She can put it in the comments so other people could see it. So I'm going to get started with our welcome and then we'll get back to the comments. So, welcome to our new viewers and our returning viewers and Team Replay, because I know there's a lot of you watching Team Replay. So this is Let's Talk About It, Careers, Business, and LinkedIn, episode 33, How to Say No. And I am really looking forward to this conversation. But before then, I want to remind everyone, anyone who has a tech issue with LinkedIn, or if you get knocked out, which has happened lately to me, but I always get back in on other people's shows. But if you can't get back in, use this QR code, and this will take you to YouTube Live, because we're live on YouTube as well. So let's introduce ourselves. And Melissa, would you start? And then I'll move the banners.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. I'm Melissa Cohen. I'm a personal branding and LinkedIn strategist. I am based in New York City, as is Leslie. As I mentioned, if you were here from the beginning, I am also the co-author of a book called Letters to Lily, Lessons in Leadership and Loving Yourself. I'm going to give a tiny plug that we have submissions open. We extended it another week. If you don't know what I'm talking about, please go check out the one of my recent posts or send me a DM. We are still extending the deadline for submissions, and we'd love to have your letter included in volume 2.
Well, I am Leslie Nydick, and my letter to Lily is on my table over there. I wanted to do one last read before I send it in to what I thought was today's deadline. I'm still going to send it in today. I'm not going to give myself an extra week to edit. So I'm Leslie Nydick. I talk and post about managing conflict, and that does include communication and negotiation. So as you can imagine, saying no is a big part of communication. And even though I know when I need to say no, I still hesitate. And that is why I am so looking forward to today's conversation. Before we get started, I think there's been a few more arrivals, so we'll try, I'm gonna push it. Oh, look who's here. And I'm sure he brought loads of people with him. Merrill Cass. Thank you. We're so glad you're here. And who am I met? Oh, look who else is here. Gail. Oh, she wrote a lovely comment. It's so true. We met in the comments. So everyone here, this is why we try to bring up these comments, because there's so many people we've met through these comments, people who've met each other, and it's always a great conversation. Who else? Look who else is here? Felipe. Oh, and he has so many live streams. Another place that's great to meet people in the comments, which I love. And then our friend who I miss because we haven't had gelato together. I hope one day we do it again. So we're really glad you're here from Northwest Florida. Hello, Evan.
I just want to say we have a very international show today. So I've seen also, in addition to the people we've brought up, we have Ranadeb from India.
Yeah, Ranadeb. And also Lisa Fevick.
Yes. Oh, and Lisa, you have to remind me where you live. I think it's somewhere that I really like. I don't know why it's in my head that it's a place I want to go. And we also have Miriam from Nigeria. We have such
Wow.
a great international crowd this month. It's amazing.
And
Ah,
I'll get those. Oh, now I see. If anyone's done a live stream, that sometimes it's hard to the comments move while I'm trying to pick them out. So I even see our good friend Eden is here, so I'm trying to skip around. I'm glad that oh, there's lots of other people here. Jody is here, Marianne. Oh, here's another one. There's more new ones coming in as I'm talking.
yeah.
Leanna. Oh, we're so glad you're here. Wait a minute. Anne Elliott, once again, this is the one, everyone, seriously, if there's anyone who's figured out how to be here when she's on a flight, that was last month.
Yes.
And this week she's on Lake Superior, and she was pretty sure she wasn't going to be able to join in, and here she is again.
Mhm.
So thank you, Anne. We're so
Yes.
glad.
We have another viewer coming from India, Avinash. So thank you all so much for joining us. It really means
Oh,
a lot to us.
so now we want to get to, and we're going to get to all the hellos, believe me, but I want to get to the viewer question. We need your help. We want the answer in the comments. So the question is it more difficult for you to say no in the workplace or in your personal life? And this is going to be our informal poll, and then I'll give the answer of what the studies have shown. So please put your answers in the comments. And while you're doing that, I'm going to ask Melissa, how would you respond to that?
I would respond yes,
Both.
because both are hard. I think it's something I've really been trying to work on lately. I think for many of us, and I think it affects women probably to an even greater degree than it does men, but I think it affects everybody. I like to say I'm a recovering people pleaser, right? Many of us were
Yes.
brought up to be polite, try to help people, or
Yes.
saying no feels icky, right? Um,
Yes.
so I would say for me, honestly, it can be hard in both cases. And you and I are both business owners, right? So we're not in a traditional corporate environment. And so when that happens, I think also the personal and the business can get a little bit overlapped sometimes, right?
Yes. Definitely. And you brought up a good point, like male, female. I think it's also cultural, where we grew up influences us. Uh, and besides being, if we're business owners, corporate, small business, big business, working for government, I think all of that, because we have perceptions of what we're supposed to say, and that really has a big impact on us. So I see that there's lots of responses. So let's try. I'm going to just randomly pick one. Oh, hello. I'm from India. Yay. We're so glad you're here. And we've got lots of hellos, which I love doing. I'm looking at having a few Wi-Fi. Oh, shit, of course. But Anne, you are always going to find the way to be like in the most remote places reaching out to us. So there's a lot of hellos going back and forth.
There's some
I don't
there's
even,
Yeah, there's some great comments. I'm seeing a mix. I'm seeing some people saying like yes, both, and I'm seeing a mix. I think Stevens is a really great comment, right? So I'll read it for you, Leslie. I would say it's
please.
I would say it's slightly more difficult to say no in my personal life. Generally, there are more relationships at stake and cultural considerations. I think that's
Oh,
really important. Um, and then we have Evan. Evan says it's easier to say no in my personal life. At work, no means yes because your boss voluntold you.
oh, I love that word, voluntold you.
Yes,
Wow. And
exactly.
and then I do see one from Carlos. It's harder to say no at work because we don't get to manage the expectations. Oh, that's a good point.
Yes.
And Amara just answered workplace, an absolute. This
Yep.
will be very interesting, and both are hard for sure. I
Yes.
think that's a key point. And what was Anne saying? And from the queen of non-overwhelm, resting is not racing around all weekend. I love that.
This is true. This is true.
So, oh, and I'm clicking on what it is a tie for me, Steve. Oh, and welcome. We're glad you're here. And what did America say? Much harder at work or business. We say no to our kids and partners all the time. That's very interesting. So our informal poll here doesn't quite match what the studies say because the studies are pretty clear that there's studies and surveys. I looked at both, and they really have the same result. People consistently find it more difficult to say no in the workplace than
Mm.
in their personal lives. Uh, and there were a few reasons that were attributed to this. One is some of the stuff that got mentioned: power imbalances, perceived and actual, fear of maybe career repercussions because saying no may be considered uncooperative.
Yep.
And then something that Stephen just mentioned, like societal cultural norms, where there's a perceived pressure to say yes. I mean, there's some cultures where the word no is just not used. You say yes, even though you mean no. So a lot of that is at play. So there really is a lot for us to overcome, each of us as individuals and then as a group. So let's talk about it. So we're going to move to our first discussion question. So, Melissa, you're on the spot. Let's start with the challenges. What prevents you from saying no? I know you start to mention it if you have examples or any further insight.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely that sort of people pleasing tendency, right? It feels rude to say no. It
Yes.
feels impolite to say no. You can feel like you're going to burn a bridge or, break a friendship. I think what for me, I've really tried to get my head around is if you don't say no to things that don't really serve you, you're never going to give yourself enough time to say yes to those things that really matter, that really move the needle, are really important. And I think that's really, really true in business, right? So, again, my situation is a little different from someone who's in corporate, right? I spent almost 30 years in corporate. So, I'm there's a real difference, right? But what I find as a business owner is a lot of people just want to grab a little time, right? Oh, do you have 15
Yes.
minutes? Oh, can I pick your brain about something, right? And we're conditioned to want to say yes. And I consider myself a very social person. I want to help people. And it doesn't sound like much, right? Oh, a quick call. The quick call is never quick, right? It's never 15 minutes. And what I started finding is when I just kept saying yes to that repeatedly, my calendar was filled with these, oh, just a few minute calls, right? And then I was finding I didn't have enough time to do real client calls, to do the work
Yes.
that I needed to do, right? And so I really had to fix that imbalance.
You just reminded me of just in my corporate years, same thing, decades there. And I was always in service oriented, like I was serving the company, and people would come by and go, "Do you have a minute?" Before I learned finally, like not to, of course I have a minute, but that's not, like you said, those questions sometimes were big. It was just that kind of phrase, do you have a minute? No, no, you needed to ask me if I have 4 days sometimes. Um, so I started to learn not to answer, go, what are you looking for? So I would go back with a question and go, oh, what you're looking for, we're going to be talking about in a meeting next week. So why don't we talk after that? So I learned to like manage it better because when I said, do you have a minute? Then they would get into it. And now I have to defend why I can't address it now. And that it's that thing of like not wanting to disappoint everyone, especially if you're looking to serve people as well as serving yourself. And, the people pleaser would stop it. I think the other thing with the workplace is that it's the power imbalances. And I remember experiencing that myself, and I see it all too often with clients that you feel like you can't say no base because your manager has the power. They're the ones who are going to give you a promotion or not give you a promotion. And and then it's the same with families and friends where maybe it's not a power thing, but it's like just, you care about them, you love them. Of course you want to say yes. And just figuring out how to manage that and remembering yourself. You have to be able to say yes to yourself, like you said, Melissa. So I know our viewers also have something to add about this. So if you saw a comment that caught your attention, because I see comments back and forth like, yes, Gail, I agree with you. I see Lincoln is now here. Uh,
But yeah, Gail,
Narn,
Gail has a great. Oh, let's do Kathy's. Go ahead. Go ahead.
oh, I'm doing pretty well with saying no now. Before I just thought the world would stop revolving. Oh, it does
It's
feel
true.
like that, doesn't it?
It's true, right? Gail has a great one, right? So she said, at work, we want to be seen as the team player 24/7 and not rock the corporate boat, which can have career growth repercussions. So I remember this was many, 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 many years ago. I was 6 months pregnant, and my boss asked me if I would do my trip to Asia, right? That I wasn't traveling as much for that role as I was many years later, but still, travel to Asia was an important part of my job. And I had to say no because I didn't feel comfortable at that stage of pregnancy taking
Yes.
a 19-hour flight, being in another country. God forbid something went a little bit awry, and that was probably the hardest no I ever had to give. But, my personal, it wasn't just about me, right? It was
Yes.
something else or someone else. But that was incredibly
That
hard.
would
That
that
was
would be scary.
really hard. And, I actually framed it as an opportunity, right, for someone on my team to go in my place. So it was, I can't, medically it's not wise, but why don't we give
Yeah,
this opportunity to this person to travel and get
I
that
love that.
experience?
And did that, I'm hoping that person appreciated the opportunity because that's huge too.
Yes, yes, the person on my team definitely did. It was her first time getting to have that experience. So yes, did upper senior management appreciate it? I'm not sure, but she did. Yes, she did.
Right. I know. So you now reminded me of, I think her motives of why she would send, a boss of mine would send me to a lot of meetings when I was working in a government job. And I love the opportunity. I got exposed to things I wouldn't have gotten exposed to at that age. I don't know why she would send me. I don't know if it was like, oh, let's give Leslie the opportunity, but I just like took it and ran with it. And because I knew that in my position, I normally wouldn't have been in those types of meetings. So it was great that she said to her boss, no, and let's send Leslie. So it was a great opportunity. I see so many things going back and forth. I don't even know where to start. So I'm going to pick. I know Lincoln is here. Oh, and look who else is here. Hi, Brenda Miller. And she's even saying something to Liz Lopez, and I haven't seen her yet. So there's definitely a lot of people here. Look, we have so many friends here. Andrew, I hope you're all like networking with each other too, because you're a fabulous community and great group of people that are here. I'm looking to see. Oh, and look who I have. Oh my God, hugs to you too, Gloria. I haven't seen you in forever. I remember that time I met you in person. It was great. We played a joke on someone, so it was who was visiting New York, so it was great. So thank you. We're going to get into all these comments, but of course I see what time it is, and I just want to get to this. This is the most important question. So I want to make sure we get this. So my next question, Melissa, is when you need to say no, what has worked for you? You've mentioned some of them. If you
Yeah.
could share more.
So I think having a no and, right? So the example I just gave, no, I'm personally not comfortable making that trip. And that doesn't mean nobody's going to go. That doesn't mean the work's not going to get done. Here's somebody on the team who's done a great job, really shown a lot of, growth and promise. Let's give her this opportunity,
Yeah.
right? And it can even be when somebody does the infamous, can I pick your brain? I might say, I'm really sorry, my calendar's full right now. And here's some free resources that I share.
Yes.
So
Yes.
I think it can be not a no and that's it. It can be a no with something in its place.
And it's funny you mentioned that because my one thing that worked, and not in all situations, but it's a yes and let me preface it like at work, being someone coming up to me, oh, can you add on this project? I found that with several bosses, if I said no, they never heard the rest of it, like where you're saying the parameters or another option. So I started saying yes. Oh, and first, let's look at all the projects they have so we can reprioritize them because obviously this one might be more important. There were times they came back and go, oh, no, you know what? This one's not more important. Let's hold it, or I'm going to find someone else to take care of it. So I found the yes. And even though I wasn't saying yes outright, like I'll do it, it started a conversation and then we collaborated more. That didn't work with everyone, but it definitely was something I tried with a lot of people. And then the other one was what someone did to me that when I worked at Radio City Music Hall, this contractor would often say no to me. I would call and go, oh, I have this project. I think you'd be great for it. And he's like, no, I'm really not great for it. Or I don't have the team right now. I want you to know he became my first call every time I had a project because when he finally said yes, I knew he meant it. And I was bombarded with a lot of contractors who would say yes when they really weren't the best and they didn't have the right team. They just wanted to get in because
Yeah.
it was Radio City Music Hall. So it taught me how important it was to say no because maybe I'd become someone's first call because they knew when I said yes, I really meant it.
I think that's a great point, right? You should not say yes if it's not the right opportunity for you, right? Because it's going
Yeah.
to end up being a lose-lose situation.
Yes, absolutely. So let's look at get a few more comments, and we're going to have to get into them for later today and over
And
the
we
weekend
will.
because
We
the
will.
time is almost up, and there's so many great comments, and additional people have been showing up. I'm just going to throw out some names. I see Eden, Margaret Martinez is here, MD is here, and now I have to try to slide this up to see Meryl Cass, we know is here, been commenting. Wow, there's so many and everything, and everyone's talking to each other, and I'm so excited to see that. If there's a particular comment you want to pick out, Melissa, you might have seen more of them. I see Evan is going back and forth with Lincoln. I love it.
I see Meryl telling everybody to connect. So please do that. Please go to that networking. Is that networking tab still on our events? Yes, right? Or did they
I
take that?
have to look because I'm not sure because they've taken it
They
off and then put
changed
it back on. So
however you find one another, talk to one another in the comments, send connection requests. Leslie and I will be going in later today and over the weekend and responding to everyone. What makes this event special is that all of you take the time to show up because Leslie is one of my favorite people on earth, but just her and I talking to one another isn't as fun as it is seeing all of you joining in the conversation and participating. So really grateful that you're all here.
Um, yes, and can you all still see me because my screen has like
I see.
gone awry, which is okay. I'm just gonna try. I can't even get the right banner up. I just want to say thank you and ditto on everything Melissa just said. I hope you'll join us again next month. We'll let you know what the date is, but more importantly, today and throughout the weekend, make sure you watch your notifications or come back to this post because there will be replies going back and forth, and I can't wait to continue the conversations. So I hope you have a great Friday.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.